So I don't know if you know this alarming fact, but about 18 million people die of cardiovascular diseases each year worldwide. So in addition, millions of people live with cardiovascular diseases and require cardiac care. So cardiac ultrasound is a powerful diagnostic tool in the management of these patients, but obtaining an accurate image of the heart is crucial in order to diagnose the patient.
Welcome to our series entitled the IAM Podcast, a podcast about innovation, business, and most importantly, people. In this series, we'll be talking to founders, executives, and various experts about their vision, challenges, best practices, and lessons learned throughout their journey. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the IAM Podcast. I am Araya, your host, and today with me is the co-founder and the CTO at UltraSight, Itay Kezurer. Hello, Itay.
Hi, May. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited.
We are super excited. Welcome to the show.
Great to see you again.
Great. Okay, let's jump right in. Would love to hear you give us a brief of your experience and expertise. Tell us about yourself.
Great. So I'm Itay. I live in Rehovot. I'm married to Noah and the father of two boys, a daughter, and an Australian Shepherd dog. I'm a graduate from the Applied Math and Computer Science Department of the Weizmann Institute in Rehovot here in Israel. And I'm an ex-rock climber. So previously, before I was a dad in full time, I was extensively rock climbing. So now it's a little bit less, but I wish I would climb more.
Amazing. Okay. And then you went to UltraSight. So talk to us about UltraSight.
Yes. So UltraSight is the intersection point of all the stuff that I love: AI, impact on healthcare, people, and great amount of challenge. UltraSight uses machine learning to allow healthcare professionals at any level of experience to take cardiac ultrasound images. So let me backtrack here for a second. Becoming a proficient sonographer, it takes years. Ultrasound is a key diagnostic tool for patient management. At the same time, it's very hard to master. With AI, we aim to address this gap and put cardiac ultrasound in the hand of more healthcare professionals for improved patient care.
Would love to hear the genesis. Did this come from a personal experience, or how did this idea come about?
Great question. So, because I know the answer. So during my studies at the Weizmann Institute, I focused my work on algorithms in geometry and the application of AI on shapes. My work got published in leading peer-reviewed journals, and as much as it made me feel a sense of achievement, I was looking for ways to increase the impact of what I was doing. Where could AI image interpretation bring greater value to society? It was clear that medical diagnostics was the right field, but in what clinical areas? Soon after, my mentor, Professor Yaron Lipman, and I decided to focus on ultrasound images, and together with Achil Dumirsky, a pediatric cardiologist at NYU, we started to validate our ideas, and after several iterations, we landed our innovation in cardiac ultrasound and decided to establish the company.
Okay. So how was that working with the co-founder? How's the experience? Take us back to the time when you first talked about the idea.
So basically, of course, my co-founders are great. Yaron was my mentor and my supervisor at my studies at the Weizmann Institute. And Achi is a cardiologist, a pediatric cardiologist at NYU, and he is a great person. I love them both so much. So basically, we share the same vision, and I'll tell you about our vision. Yeah. So UltraSight was founded on a simple but very powerful idea: to apply the power of geometrical deep learning to cardiac ultrasound and provide the ability to scan patients to every care provider for better patient care. Although cardiac ultrasound is the standard of care for diagnosing cardiovascular diseases or in short, CVD, cardiac ultrasound proficiency is mostly limited to cardiologists and less accessible to patients at the point of care. We wanted to change this reality.
Okay. Yes. So talk to us about the impact. I mean, why did you feel the need to solve this? What's happening in the industry?
So I don't know if you know this alarming fact, but about 18 million people die of cardiovascular diseases each year worldwide. So in addition, millions of people live with cardiovascular diseases and require cardiac care. So cardiac ultrasound is a powerful diagnostic tool in the management of these patients, but obtaining an accurate image of the heart is crucial in order to diagnose the patient. So as mentioned before, taking ultrasound images of the heart is not trivial. And let me color this picture for a second. So the sonographer has to look at black and white 2D images of the heart to decipher and understand the anatomy and to understand how to move the probe to get to the best view. Today, about 20% of ultrasound images require a repeated exam due to a low quality of these images. The lack of accessibility to imaging tools of many patients and time-consuming repeated exams can have potentially fatal consequences. This is precisely why we founded UltraSight. Our goal is to take the complex world of cardiac ultrasound to the next level through the power of AI.
Okay, very, very interesting. So you don't have to be a cardiologist or a sonographer to take images of your heart. Talk to us about the product. I mean, what to do, how you do it.
Great. So let me first address your question. I mean, who is going to use our product? So the application of AI in healthcare provides exciting opportunities to change old paradigms. If in the past, as you said, a healthcare professional or a cardiologist or an echo technician or emergency physician had to extensively train on how to acquire cardiac ultrasound images, soon this reality will be very different. AI algorithms can support users with different sonography skills and help them perform like experts. Our AI algorithm analyzes the cardiac ultrasound image, understands where the ultrasound probe is positioned on the patient's body versus where it needs to be, and provides real-time instructions on the user on how to get from point A to point B, and instructs the user to save the image when point B is reached. It will allow more healthcare professionals at different training levels to conduct cardiac ultrasound, which will increase patients' access and to advanced, of course, medical services. So think about the impact.
Yes. So I cannot imagine like an ordinary person just grabbing the device and then taking pictures or high quality images of your heart and detecting
Exactly.
diseases, right? Could you give us an example of like experiences with your co-founder or a user story?
Yes. So I want to address something very personal. Of course, everything is personal when dealing with your company, but basically it's something much has been said, of course, about founding a company and building teams, etc. But nothing prepared me or my co-founders to the, of course, COVID-19 and what it brought with it. So let's get back to early 2020. We were a young company, and the funding we previously raised started to drain. So there is this thing about money that it runs out sometimes. And we were in the middle of a new funding round, but then COVID-19 hit us and shuffled all the cards. So cash was running low, and we tightened our belt to keep all our employees safe. But all of our efforts with investors at that time yield nothing. So can you imagine the stress? It was quite hard. And not only the pandemic, of course, was stressful, and social distancing, lockdowns, working with kids from home. Now the cash became a serious issue. And as interim CEO, I felt deeply committed to every single person in our team. And after many conversations between the three of us, we decided to focus on three things. So first, financially, we cut down all expenses as well as our budget to bare bones. Second, product-wise, we put all our efforts on developing our key functionality and put everything else on hold. Third, we significantly invested in our pitch for potential investors and partners. Throughout these turbulent times, the guiding principles was our commitment to the team and ultimately the commitment to pursue a vision of bringing cardiac ultrasound to any healthcare professional. So I'm happy to be on the other side of the tunnel and report that these efforts have proven successful.
Congratulations. Oh, okay. So yes. Could you give me, okay, this is a side question, but how do you manage to motivate the team? I mean, during those times, I mean, what's your mantra or what do you always tell them?
So I think that one thing that is special about our team is that, nowadays our team is super talented. They can work in many places, like other companies, like the big ones, Google, that I love, of course, and Apple. Our team is really special. We are a small company. We're around 15 people now, and we are all putting all our efforts in changing old paradigms in order to give the ability for every healthcare professional to scan patients in every setting. So this is the glue. We have the same values and we share the same vision.
Where are you in your journey first? And where are you headed to? Are you going to space?
Great question. So first of all, currently we are pre-FDA, so we're working on a pilot study now and seeking a pivotal study in the next couple of months. And we are going to space with GE. It won't be in the next mission, but it will be in the future. So basically enabling everyone to scan, especially astronauts or people outside of Earth.
So what have you learned from your journey?
Great. So basically, I usually love hearing other people's experiences. So let me share some of my key learning from my journey so far. So first of all, take the time to build your team. Hire professionals who both have the right skills and experience to share your values and vision. The way that our team stuck with us through the rough patches lies in the fact that we share the same values and vision, and we all care deeply of the cause. So basically, during the COVID, no one left us. And I think that it was more or less because of our values that we share together and the same cause that we are fighting on. Second is be prepared to have several rounds of iterations, as close as possible to reality. With each iteration, concepts are revisited and perfected, making your product better suited to the market it is designed to serve. So I give you an example from our experience. During the development process, we invited novice users to test drive our system. Every test session brought up new insights, areas for improvements, and new functionality. So these test drives allowed us to look at our creation from a new perspective, from our customers' point of view. The third thing is it's never easy to hear that your ideas are not brilliant or that someone else on the team or outside has reservations. However, keep an open mind and don't get too attached to your ideas. The only way to address potential weaknesses and develop the best product is to be constantly challenged. So I can share an anecdote from our lives in UltraSight. So the team was working in the early days on a utility that could provide automatic cardiac measurements. And we came out from a meeting with a potential investor, which included the demo. I scanned myself and I showed him the system. And then the investor made a comment to us And I quote, he said, "I wish there was a real-time instruction so I could scan as you did too." And Yaron and I was in this meeting, and we signaled each other with some facial expressions that we should discuss this afterwards. And soon after some validation, this concept has developed into the key functionality of our solution. So of course, because we had this open-minded, we just thought maybe, well, it's a good suggestion. Maybe we need to tackle this area because it was very challenging. Ultrasound is very hard to master, as you know. And we said, okay, maybe we need to do that. It's interesting enough. And we're from technology background. And he said, all right, let's do it. Let's go for it. And eventually we had this business case, and we really saw that there is a true need, and that people that don't know how to scan will scan. So we didn't start from that. We started from a different area in ultrasound, in cardiac ultrasound. So that's really special.
Yeah. So I remember what the previous guest told me, like, talk to your users. You can get ideas, talk to your users. Do not think that your idea is the most brilliant one. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. What's this one commonly held belief in the startup space that you passionately disagree?
In my point of view, there is a commonly held belief that startups should devise a product, and with that, their work is done. So you have a product, that's it. But we tend to envision a warm reaction from the market and huge acceptance. But the real world doesn't work like that. I mean, even the best ideas out there require more time to develop and fine tune. So it is essential to get close to your customers, learn what they need and what they think of your product, and optimize to meet the customer's expectations. So the earliest you do it, it's better. You need to do it as soon as you can, and even without writing code, you can just do mock-ups and go to the customers and get their feedback, and it's really, really good.
Okay. Wow. What should every CTO stop doing? In a word.
So I have maybe more than a word, but I think that maybe, I mean, many entrepreneurs or CTOs describes, or co-founders describe their companies as babies, right? They're the most important things in our lives. So, and as founders, and myself included, we should slowly and carefully consider where we can bring the greatest value, and in which areas we need others to supplement and enhance. Or in other words, put your efforts in areas where your contribution is the highest, and don't work on anything else. I mean, this is the main key point. I think that many entrepreneurs, they want to do anything or everything in their company, and they don't focus only on the areas where they are the best. And they sometimes they work on stuff that they're not so good at, but because it's their responsibility and they like it so much, they put effort on areas that they can put someone else on. For instance, you are the founder and the CTO of the company, okay? And you don't have a director of finance. You don't have someone that handles your finance, all right? And because it's you're the founder and you care about your company, and you find yourself managing all the budget and invoices and payments and salaries, etc. But maybe you can just hire someone to take this part from you, or outsource it, and you work on the stuff that you are strong, the strongest, and put your effort on the things that you are best at, and not on other areas that must be, of course, if you don't pay your employees, it will be a problem. So someone needs to do it. But sometimes you have to do it because you're the only person. But it's a problem, because then you don't focus on the most important things in your
What you
company.
should focus. Yeah. Yes. Okay, great. So what's one thing you want to attach to your name? Like if you say, I am Itay, your blank CTO, what would that be?
That's a tough question, but I think that one thing that um, I'm super organized person, so I think that and one key that if someone will try and do it and see if it's even if he or she are not so organized, maybe it's a good tip that someone can just take and play with for a couple of weeks and see if it makes sense. So the tip is journaling. So it's a tool that I'm using to keep track of my priorities. So basically, it's like a pen and paper way. I use a table where rows represent the days of the month and the columns are the areas I handle. And every day, as the day goes by, I just mark the relevant cells. So for instance, I work today on IP and it is Wednesday, so I marked IP. And I talked with my team, or I did some management things, or I worked on strategy. So I put a V mark next to this cell. And after, it's like, it's a good picture. It's a visual picture that shows me how my time is allocated and if it's aligned with my priorities. So if, for instance, I see that there is too much time, I put effort on areas I don't want to put on, it's a problem. And in the next days, I take it into mind. So I think it's a good tool that allows me to be super focused. So I'm a focused CTO.
Oh, focus CTO. Yeah, you've mentioned that a lot of times. And yeah, that's really interesting. But this is the first time I've heard of that from a CTO. But yeah, it's really worth trying and implementing. Okay, so for people who want to reach out to you or yes, who want to talk to you for collabs or partnership or etc., where can they reach you?
So of course we have UltraSight.com, which is our website, and you can just reach out. And I'm Itay at UltraSight. And so it's easy. I think everything is online right now, right? Everything is visible, so it won't be a problem.
Yes, amazing. All the best to UltraSight. Thank you very much, Itay.
Thank you so much, mate. It was amazing to speak with you today.
This podcast is powered by IAMOps.io. Optimize your cloud infrastructure and CI/CD process with IAMOps.io dedicated DevOps team. Check out www.iamops.io and get a DevOps team now. Make sure to check out www.iamops.io if you want to know more about us. Subscribe to our podcast so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you and you have a great day.